Hi guys, it's Jordan from B&B Campers. I'm just going to be doing a handover video on this Auto Cruise Pioneer. The model of Pioneer that it is a Pizarro, which is one of the smallest campers, motorhomes that you can find on the market. I'm going to run you through the inside first on this part of the video, and there'll be a second part of the video for the outside, just because we've got stuff going on just outside the van at the moment. So what I'm going to do is jump into the cab and just show you what we've got going on in here first of all. So the actual spec in this particular cab is very, very high. So we've got all of your steering wheel controls. So you've got all of this to do with the original factory fitted stereo there. You've got the cruise control function on that lower stalk just there, and your indicators and lights on the left. We've then got your washers and wipers on the right hand side, and your electric adjusting mirrors and windows on the door. You have also got the option of the reversing camera up there. You can turn that on and off from this little bottom right hand side switch just there. You have got the front windscreen has got the blinds that come across here in the middle, and then there are some silver screens in the locker just above us up here for the side windows to go onto these little poppers. So it's a very, very hot day today, hence why I've got the air conditioning on. So the aircon is from that little switch just there in the middle. As I said, you've got the factory fitted head unit there, and we've got your hazard warning lights. Lock and unlock the cab from there as well. The 6-speed manual gearbox. Reverse is lift up on the back, and then you push over it and up to the top left hand side. The bonnet release handle is just inside the if you have to open up the passenger door there, and it's just inside this bit of the dashboard there. But yeah, there we go. So that's about it for the cab. Both front seats are on swivel seat bases, so the swiveling parts are from here, so you pull that and then the entire seat here will swivel all the way around like so. Same for the drivers, so that is nice and easy. Right, so the first thing I'm going to show you in the back end of the vehicle is going to be this, which is the control panel. And these EMS, energy management systems, are very simple to use, but also fairly kind of easy to work on. If you need to get any access to certain things, pretty straightforward. So you've got the control panel up there, and then just down here behind the driver's seat, if I take that out, we've got this, which is your energy management system module A. So this is kind of like the brain of the vehicle. This is where all the power comes to, and it gets diverted off where it needs to. This is what you would normally call a power supply unit. You've also got next door to that a little bank of fuses next door to that as well. So if you ever have any sort of 12-volt problems with the vehicle, more than likely going to be down there by the fuses. So up here on the control panel, as I said, very straightforward how you actually use it. We've got a main power switch on the left hand side. We've then got clock, so you can adjust the time on the clock. Lights on and off, so when we turn this switch on and off, it will then allow us to turn the lights on or off. Volts, so that's going to tell us the engine and leisure battery voltages when we click on that button just there. So 13.8. The reason that we're up on 13.8, which is a really, really high voltage, is because the engine is currently running and charging both engine and leisure batteries both at the same time. So that's just showing us that system there, the D+ signal, is working really well. Amps next door to that is just going to tell us how many amps are being drawn from the leisure battery at any one time. So we can see there plus 4.5 amps is plus because we've got the engine running and the battery's being charged up as we speak. If you didn't have the engine running and you didn't have the hookup plugged in, you would be on minus figures if you have the lights on or anything working in the back, because it would be telling you that there'll be a certain amount of amps drawing on the leisure battery instead of being put into it. We've then got the info button, and that basically just tells us the amount of time that we can use the leisure battery for before it will run out. So it's going to tell us there forever because we've got charge going into it. Solar panel, don't have to worry about that. Water pump. So when we turn this pump on, we will then be able to come over to the sink here and draw water through to the tap. Now, before I carry on with everything else, on the water pump, well, the way that you have to use it basically, with motorhomes, you've got two systems really. You've got one which is the freshwater side of the thing, the whole sort of vehicle, which is basically just water straight from the pump, from the tank, straight to the taps. But then you've also got a boiler in the vehicle, so you have got the separate system, which is the hot side. So the hot side has to go through the boiler first before it will come out to the tap. So in order to make sure that the boiler is definitely full up, all we have to do is turn the tap to the left to the hot side, and as long as the water comes through like it is right now, and the pump turns itself off when you turn the tap off, I can know for an absolute fact that the boiler is full of water. So doing that is really important. Just to make sure that your boiler is full of water and that you're up to pressure is really important. The next one over is our water levels. So it's telling us that the fresh water is nearly empty and the wastewater is okay, doesn't need to be emptied yet. All right, so that is the control panel. Really simple to use, and you know, it's one of those things that we don't generally get any issues with. So I'll leave that where it is now. Next thing I'm going to show you is going to be underneath this side settee. So I'll just sort of show you the reason why I've got it out in a bit of a funny way at the moment. So if I carry on pulling this bed out, that's how you make up the bed at its full width. You can pull it out all the way here, and then you've got this other part here that opens up, and then that means that you can make up this double bed really, really nice and big if you want to. So down here underneath these little hatches, we've got, over on the left hand side, this is the Propect heater. Well, it's actually a Truma heater, but same thing really. So this is your heating system down here. To the right of that, we've got this, which is your freshwater tank. So the fact that it's inboard is always really good. Means it's less likely to freeze up in the winter. You can get access to that from this little hatch at the top, and that allows you to get your hand in there and give it a clean out if you need to. The white pipe at the top just here is an overflow, so if you do fill the tank all the way to the very brim, it's not going to start flowing out inside the vehicle. It will come out through that pipe and down there out to the floor. To the right of that, we've got the water pump. So if you ever need any access to the water pump, that's where it is there. Looks fairly new to me, so you shouldn't have any issues with that at all. So I'm just going to pop these down so I can show you. Put the bed back a bit further. So when we push this bed back in, it will click a few times. I'll just pull the handle there, underneath, all the way like that. Once you've got the bed back like that, we can put this back cushion down. Awkward with one hand. Pop that back in there. So this is essentially how the bed's going to look once you've got it all back in place. The seating then looks like this. So really nice, tucked out the way. Yeah, nice sociable sort of layout. For such a small vehicle, 5.3 meters long, the layout in here is absolutely fantastic. I did a walk around video on it before, showing you how it all makes up. So control panel, I've done that now. So that's essentially just how you start the vehicle up, how you get the power going to things. The rest of the vehicle is all kind of specific and individual to the individual sort of appliances and things like that. So first thing I'm going to do is run you through the back end of the vehicle. So back here we've got the bathroom. The toilet cassette is very simple to use. So you literally just pull this little grey handle here towards you. That opens up this flap here and then empties out whatever's in here into the cassette. You need to make sure that you push this back over when you're finished. And the flush button is back here, little blue button. And that will pump around your fresh water for the flush. So if I just open this, drains into the cassette, and then push the flap back over. Above the toilet, we've got the sink. So literally hot and cold sink, just like the kitchen there. Only difference of this is the fact that there's no drain in the actual sink hole itself, so you need to lift it up, and slowly pour it down the back. And then you've got drains down that little gap there at the back, so it'll drain out underneath like so. There you go. So that is the toilet area. I'll just turn this light off as well. You then got, very clever, on the other side here, this door that opens up. Now I'm just going to open up this door a little bit so I can open it up. So this door will close all the way up like so and lock in position like that, so you can completely separate the back end of the vehicle to the front. So full-sized separate shower. So for such a small vehicle, this is absolutely unheard of, really. I've not seen another one like this. Lights up here as well, as you can see. And then, you know, I'm not going to show you how the shower works because I'll get soaking wet, as you can imagine. Just pop this skylight down. But yeah, so literally just hot and cold from the mixer tap just there, and that is your shower in here. You have got a screen that comes across here to stop any water coming out into the actual main part of the vehicle. But yeah, there you go. Very, very clever little layout. So close this door back over, and I shall jump back in. So really, really neat how they've done that at the back of the vehicle there, completely separate to the front. Now you've got full-sized standalone table inside this little cupboard here. Loads of storage in the overhead lockers throughout. I've left these two open just so I can show you this one. So this is your TV aerial locker. So if you wanted to use the TV aerial to get a bit of signal, you basically just undo this little thing here. You can then push this TV aerial up and move it around to wherever you need to go, and then tighten it back up again. You've then got the TV aerial booster, which turns on and off from this little right hand switch here, and you will need that booster to be on before you can get a decent signal going to any of the sockets. So that is your TV aerial locker. The rest of it is just storage. So as I said in the cab, you have got the fly screens, or not fly screens, sorry, the silver screens for the cab. This is for the side doors. You've also got the original carpets, so if you did want the carpets back down again, you can put those down in there. Rest of the cupboards, you've got the original plates that they would have put in there from factory. Little plate holder thing there. This one is kind of half used up because you've got the pipe for the extractor in here. Okay, so down here in this little hatch under the floor is where the leisure batteries are. Now, you're very lucky in the sense that you've got these two, I think they're Rolls leisure batteries, and yes, they are meant to sit on their side like that. It's not, you know, it's not like they've been put upside down or anything. That is how they're supposed to be. So you've got the twin leisure batteries there, Rolls batteries. Now these are pretty well top of the range batteries, and they are not cheap. I'm pretty sure these batteries were in here when we last sold the vehicle, which goes to show just how good they are. Absolutely nothing wrong with them at all, and they are working really, really well as we speak. So you shouldn't have to do anything with those as long as you keep the battery voltage at a decent level. Anywhere above sort of 11 or 12 volts is great. As long as that voltage stays up there at some, around that sort of level, you shouldn't get any issues with these batteries at all. You've then got in this little cupboard here a little isolator switch for the 240 volt on the fridge, and there'll be a bit of wiring underneath that little hatch just there to just give you access to it if you should ever need to. A bit of storage in that little locker there. This one here is completely sealed up, can't take it out because it's the bottom of the sink. Now, underneath the oven, I will run you through the appliances in a minute, but I'm just going to show you in the cupboards first. We have got the boiler itself. So you've also got a mains isolator for the boiler there on the mains. So I'll run you through that in just a minute. But basically, if you want to use the hot water on electric when you're hooked up, you have to turn that switch on just there. In this lower one here, you've got a couple of bits. So we've got all of your gas isolators just here. So if I run you through which one does what, the top one is the oven and grill and the burners. Second one down is the boiler. Third one is the fridge, and the bottom one is the heater. So if you wanted to isolate the gas from any of those appliances specifically, you just turn those 90 degrees and it will just basically start, stop the gas from coming through. Above that, we just got a bit more storage, I think. Yep, and a few extra bits and pieces in there. That's a fridge element. Covered at the top, we have got the infill cushion just here, which is for this section here when you open up this part. So if you want to make the bed into the extra large sort of layout, then you have to use this infill cushion. You've then got the filling hose for the outside. So on the outside video that I do in a minute, I will show you where that goes in. And then we've got all the paperwork for the vehicle. You can see in there, absolutely stacks of it, as you would like to expect. A little light inside here as well, so you can see what you're doing. Okay, so I'm going to change over now to the appliances. I'm going to run you through the fridge first, then I'll do the cooker and so on. So the fridge is very, very simple to use. It's a Dometic three-way fridge. Three-way meaning that it works three different ways. You've got three different energies that will cool this fridge down. So the first one is gas. So in the order they're in on the screen there, you've got gas, we've got 240 volt, which is your hookup, and we've got 12 volt, which is when your engine's running. Okay, so at the moment I have got the engine running, so I can go all the way down to this one just here, and we've got a little green light in there now telling us that it's working. So the idea behind the 12 volt is that you essentially need to pre-cool the fridge first before you leave, and that the 12 volt is only really good enough for keeping the temperature inside the fridge as you're driving. So essentially the engine has the vehicle itself has a couple of wires, one set that run down to the ledger batteries to keep it charged up as you drive, and another one that runs through to the fridge so that you can keep the fridge cold as you're driving. But as I say, it's not really powerful enough to get the fridge cold by itself, so you do need to make sure that you pre-cool it before you leave. So pre-cooling it is either on the gas or the 240 volt. So let's just say you're at home and you're about to get the vehicle ready and you want to light the fridge up and all that sort of stuff, get it cold. If you want to use the gas, obviously you have to make sure that your gas is turned on in the cupboard, but all you need to do is switch this dial once around to the right and make sure that the ignition stops. You need to make sure that you've got a solid amber light in there, and when you've got the solid amber light, it means that the fridge is lit. You can also go around to the outside and put your hand over the top right hand side of the top vent and make sure that you've got hot air coming out through that. If you do, it means that the fridge is working. The next one in the middle just there will light up green as well if you've got the hookup plugged in, and that's all you have to do on that one. You just literally select that and it will start cooling down. Alright, so that is how you use the fridge. Now bear in mind as well, if you're using gas or electric, it will still take about 2 or 3 hours to actually get the fridge cold. So please don't expect it to be cold after 20 minutes or so. It just will not be. Only the sort of small compressor fridges do that. This is more like a household fridge. So allow it time to get cold. And then, as I say, just switch over to 12 volt when you're driving and then switch back to one of the other two when you're sort of parked up. The 3-burner hob, oven and grill. So you've got the 3 burners just here with an ignition for all of those. The same ignition for the oven and grill. So for the grill, we push in and round to the right, oven in and round to the left, whilst pressing on the igniter. The grill is this little part at the top just here. You have to make sure that both sides of that light up, and the oven is a little burner along the back at the bottom. So, next thing is going to be, so the heating is gas only, and as I said, it's a Truma system. I know I said Propex, but they're a very similar brand. So Trumatic E is the name of the heater that you've got. So essentially you've got fan only. So if I turn this little dial up once, it gives us a little bit of cool air pumping around through all of these little circular vents around the vehicle. So that's basically just fan only. Up again is basically just a little bit more fan. Okay, so when you go up on that dial, fan only. If I go back down to the middle again, and I will just say it's so hot outside today that this will not work because it's got a maximum temperature that it will work on. If it's over about, I think it's like 24 or something like that, 25. If it's over that sort of temperature, this heater just will not turn itself on. So just bear that in mind. But if you want the heating to come on, we go down 1 or down 2, and that'll basically just get the heaters to light up on the gas, and it will start pumping the hot air around via the fan. So literally as easy as that. The numbers in the middle is basically just, you know, as you can imagine, probably quite self-explanatory, but if you're in a bit more of a rush for some heating, just turn it all the way up. If you're not, turn it back down. Sometimes if it's a little bit warmer outside, obviously you're not going to want to use it anyway, but if it is and it won't come on still, just turn that number all the way up to 9, and then it should just come to life. Just gives it a little bit more of a chance to do that, basically. These lights up here, these are mains powered, so these will only work when your electric hookup's plugged in. All right, this one here, you basically touch on that, it should come to life. Yeah, there you go. Right, so on the other side, let's close this down. We've got the gas for the boiler. So if you want to use the boiler, you've got the two options. You've got the gas just here, or in that lower cupboard there where I showed you, you've got the option of using it on electric as well. So if you want to use it on the gas, it's literally as easy as this. Make sure that you've got your cover off on the outside first of all, but essentially just set your temperature, so it's 30 through to 70, set your temperature, and then twist it once down to the right. The boiler will light up, and that's it. That genuinely is all you have to do to get the hot water on the gas. Easy as that. So if you find that you want to turn the heating up, or turn the temperature of the water up, sorry, you literally just turn that inner dial out to whatever temperature you want, and that's it. So above that we've got the 240 volt switch, the aerial socket, and a 12 volt point. So if you wanted to have a TV up there, you can have it sat over here, and I suppose that would make sense as a place to put it. So that is your heating, hot water, fridge. Just trying to make sure there's nothing else I've missed. No, I don't think there is. So if there's anything you think I've missed out, or anything you want going over again, just let us know. As I said, there is going to be another video to watch, which will be me walking around the outside. So yeah, look out for that one as well. So yeah, if there's anything I've missed out, just give us a shout. But otherwise, we look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks very much.